Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
For generations, doctors have had to make some of childbirth's most important decisions with incomplete information about how a baby is responding to labor. ARPA-H is funding research aimed at changing that by giving clinicians a clearer view of what's happening in real time. Here with more is Dr. Kate Arnold, Program Manager of Scalable Solutions at ARPA-H. Kate, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm really glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is an important program at ARPA-H, and you're an OBGYN yourself. What is happening with the technology we use today to monitor moms and babies in delivery, and what does ARPA-H want to see differently?
So the first thing I would say is that our technology just has not changed. We essentially, as a medical community, adopted this fetal monitoring technology, which are these two little kind of hockey pucks that sit on a mom's belly when she's in labor. We adopted this technology about 50 years ago, and it has not changed since. It was adopted as an attempt to improve how babies did and to tell us when to do C-sections at the right time. And unfortunately, we really haven't seen moms or babies get better from this technology. We've instead just seen increasing C-sections and increasing liability.
The U.S. isn't doing so well when it comes to maternal and baby health overall. Is this part of the problem?
So when we look at our rising C-sections, a lot of it is because we have poor data. The fetal monitors are giving OBGYNs information that says you might need a C-section. And then we have to really make a lot of judgment calls there. And C-sections increase the risk of maternal mortality by at least threefold. So if we can get our C-section rate back down, we will 100% be able to improve maternal outcomes. Then we have the other side where sometimes we try to prevent the first C-section and we let a baby stay in an environment that doesn't have enough oxygen for too long. And that leads to bad neonatal outcomes. So if we can get good data about when intervention is needed, we should be able to improve on both of those populations' health.
So this program that you're overseeing is trying to tackle both of those problems. Are you going about it in the same way? Is there one magic bullet that solves both of these problems, or are you looking at different technological solutions?
It's many technologies, but it's all aimed at the central problem that we just don't have enough data to make good decisions on labor and delivery. So it's one problem, but we've funded many different technology solutions because we haven't seen anything that works in 50 years. So it's a high-risk environment and one that we really want to have lots of kind of shots on goals to make sure that we get a solution.
Sticking with that hockey puck analogy, I guess. Is the objective to be non-invasive with this technology?
Yes, absolutely. So the way that an ARPA program works is we really have lots of discussions with stakeholders. And one of the hardest things for this program is there are so many stakeholders. You think about the care team of nurses and doctors, and then you think about hospital leadership. You think about attorneys for these litigation cases. You think about insurance. We think about venture capital and industry. Why haven't things changed on that end? So we had so many discussions with all of those stakeholders to look at what is the dream scenario for this. And really the dream scenario is having a monitor that's accurate, that's comfortable, that's non-invasive, where moms could actually walk around during labor. And so those are all things that we've asked performers to design.
Dr. Kate Arnold is Program Manager, Scalable Solutions at ARPA-H. So you've just awarded some initial grants for this purpose. Tell us about how those teams are approaching the question.
Absolutely. So we have two fundamental questions that we've funded performers to answer. The first is when a mom is in triage and we make the decision to admit her, how can we know her risk of having intrapartum fetal hypoxia, of having a baby that's low on oxygen that leads to all these interventions? We don't have any tests like that right now. So we've funded two teams to look at blood-based point-of-care tests for new biomarkers, and we funded one team to look at an autonomous ultrasound assessment of the placenta. The second problem is literally replacing our current standard of care for fetal monitoring. So we've asked them to take fetal heart rate and contractions, which are the two things we monitor right now, and add two novel sensors and then package it all up in something that's comfortable for moms, use AI and machine learning to integrate all of that data and put out one result that both the care team and the patient can understand about the fetal status.
AI is showing up in many of ARPA-H's solicitations these days. How do you see it fitting into this challenge particularly? Is it on the diagnostics? Is it on the data integration? Is it on the prediction of care outcomes?
It's the data integration. So when we think about adding new sensors, some of the sensors we're adding are like fetal EEG or placental oxygenation or fetal oxygenation. To validate each one of those sensors and get them to the point of FDA clearance and then figure out how to use that as needed device would take decades. Right now, what I can say is, hey, why don't you use these new sensors to get the data, and then let's put it all into AI and machine learning to see which sensors are giving us better information about that fetal status. So the bulk of the work is going into this new sensor design, but that's only possible that data is only actionable because of AI and machine learning.
How does the medical community in this space feel about integrating AI? Are they receptive to it? Are they nervous about it? Do they believe it?
I think OBGYNs have a very love-hate relationship with fetal heart rate tracings. You know, we know that they're terrible. We know that we need better data. And we also think that each one of us is better than the average at interpreting it. And so I think there is kind of this love-hate. We say we want help, but then we're kind of skeptical of any solutions. And so I don't think it's quite about AI and machine learning. I think it's that a lot of innovation happens without the end users in mind. We were able to host ACOG, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, at ARPA recently. They have been at Proposers Day. They were at Kickoff Day. We know that collaboration with the United States organization of OBGYNs is going to make or break this program. And so we're so thankful that they've been supportive.
This program has a multi-year timeline. Do you anticipate being able to integrate interim learning into new practice?
I don't think that practice will actually change until these products hit the market. But I do think it's incredibly important for the medical community to see the development and to be part of the development. So we're asking performers to start presenting at conferences earlier than they probably would like to because we want that engagement. My goal is in 4 years, when these products finish phase 1 clinical trials, I want every OBGYN to say, I can't wait for that to be on the market. I've been watching this product. I've been watching these scientists design this product that is going to revolutionize how I can care for my patients, and I can't wait to get it. The failure would be if it went to market and everybody said, what is this thing? Who designed this? Where did this come from? So we're working really, really hard to make the former a reality.
That approach seems somewhat different from some of the other things that we've talked with folks at ARPA about, this deliberate engagement both with the provider community and the care community, but also the investment community as you move the technology forward through the study and the awards. What provoked that particular approach in this case?
Well, I think as an OBGYN, we tend to be very practical and maybe a little bit literal. And so when I went to design the program, I said, well, the start of the program is where the science is right now. So that was meeting with scientists and saying, what can you do right now? What are you funded to do right now? And what do you wish you could do? And what might be possible? That's the start of the program. The end of the program is looking at the investment community and saying, how far would I need to take this crazy new product in order for you to invest in it? And that's where I ended the program, was from talking to industry and to venture capital and saying, if I had this target product profile and this end vision, what metrics would you need to see to invest in this? And as good stewards of taxpayer dollars, that's when ARPA ending should stop.
At the end of this program, your goal is to make maternal and infant care better. Will it be able to translate globally?
That is a great question. The first use case is the United States, but we also did a lot of work to see that nobody has a solution for this globally. No one. And so we've also been working with the Gates Foundation to look at these technologies and say, hey, maybe with follow-on funding from Gates, we would be able to take these technologies that are state of the art in the United States and make them a little bit, less expensive, more durable, more appropriate for third world use.
That is an exciting outcome.
Yes, absolutely.
Dr. Kate Arnold is Program Manager for Scalable Solutions at ARPA-H. Thank you so much for sharing this program with us today.
I'm very passionate about it. I'll talk about it anytime, any day.
We'll check back in 3 or 4 years and find out how you're doing.
Thank you.
We'll post this interview at federalnewsnetwork.com/Federal Drive. Subscribe to the Federal Drive wherever you get your podcasts.